Hey everybody, this is Clayton. I'm the CEO of 1% Lists. The purpose of this video is to show you some of the tools that are available to you, but also to go over our listing presentation. Our listing presentation is fantastic. It has been used over the years by the vast majority of our agents, and we have agents with success rates like nearing 100% with this listing presentation. So today I'm going to show you as a new agent where you can find it, what formats you can find it in, and then I'm actually going to deliver the listing presentation to you as if you were a client that we're trying to list your home. So for starters, where can you find your listing presentation? Well, by visiting tacklebox.1percentlist.com, okay, and signing in, you would sign in using your @1%list email address. So I hope you opt to get an @1%list email address because that's the only way that you can actually view this. So once you go here and you log in, you'll be prompted to your office. So let's say that you belong to the hub. So that's Covington, Louisiana. That's the original home office. So the listing presentation is available in video format here. Okay, where you can go and find the listing presentation in very long format video. These are all agent names. So this is me, Grant Clayton, right here. This is Jenny Coles. This is all the agents that have worked for us here at the hub. So if you click on this, you'll actually find a listing presentation which is made for you. Okay, it has your contact information in it, has your cell phone, all those things in there. Or you could simply use the generic one by clicking on the generic office 1PO Covington. Okay, right here. Here's the listing presentation here, but I'm not going to show you the actual video one. The video one is a little bit longer format version of the print one. So today I'm going to show you the print one. So if I pop back over here, I'll find in the print section. Okay, once again, same things. But I'm gonna click on the generic one really quick. I'm gonna go into the listing packet. And here is the listing presentation. Okay, so this is the listing packet presentation right here. This is what the majority of our agents present to clients whenever they're trying to acquire them as a client to list their home. So I'm going to deliver this to you now as if you were a seller, and I am positioning myself to be your listing agent. So here we go, a little bit of role play. So what I'm going to show you today, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller, is something different than every other agent is going to show you. Most agents are going to show up with this big, huge PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to do something very simple. I'm going to show you where homes sell and the odds of selling your home by those means. Okay, so first, let me take you through every realtor's first 3 steps. This is every agent out there. It doesn't matter who it is. The first thing we're all going to do is we're going to put a sign in your yard. Now, statistically, that gives you about a 7% chance of generating a sale, which basically means a neighbor sees the sign or somebody drives by and sees it and they're looking for a home in the area. After the sign hits the ground, paperwork's done, and photos are done, then you're going to go into the MLS. This is where realtors find homes for their clients. This is also where realtors put clients on a search. Okay, it's important to understand that 33% of all homes sell through the MLS, which is to say that a realtor only finds a house for their client 1 out of 3 times. The majority of the time, 44% in this case, an agent finds the house on Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, Trulia.com, KellerWilliams.com, Remax.com. Every .com in the world is syndicated through something called the Internet Data Exchange, and everything that goes on the MLS is carbon copied and placed on tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of websites that sell real estate. So these 3 things are going to happen no matter what agent you choose. As long as that agent puts a sign in the ground and enters your property in the MLS, these 3 things are going to happen. And it's important to note that no realtor has any sway, not legally. Okay, we're not allowed to have any sway over the MLS or over Zillow.com or Realtor.com. Nobody gets preferential treatment. These are simply websites that are carbon copying data online all day long. So this is basically, between these 3, this is 84% of all sales that come from just these 3 sources, and I can't really manipulate them. My sign says for sale on it, just like everybody else's. I have no preferential treatment from any of these websites, and nor does anybody else. This brings me to the areas where a realtor's expertise can really shine. So these next three things, okay, there's only 6 ways that houses sell really, but these next three, these are where realtors can outperform their peers. The first one is social networking, specifically social media marketing. Believe it or not, 14% of all sales now come from social media marketing, which means more and more people are finding their homes on Facebook or even on Twitter and Instagram. Believe it or not, that's growing. Okay, so you want to make sure you hire an agent who's tech savvy enough to know how to get your home a lot of exposure on social media. Okay, but assuming you get that whole 14%, the remaining 2% comes from open houses, broker tours, and print media combined, which might sound shocking to you. But when you stop and think about it, during COVID-19, for example, open houses and broker tours were not allowed. And yet somehow we had the greatest sellers market in history. And also, if you're sitting there with a spouse right now, I bet if you decided to move today, neither one of you would look at the other one and say, "Oh my God, go get a magazine right now. Go get the newspaper. We need to find a place to live." It just doesn't happen. Before the internet, sure, everybody said, "Honey, it's time to move. Call Sally the realtor." But that's not how things work now. In fact, a study called Real Estate in the Digital Age done by NAR reveals that over 99% of millennials and Generation X, the two biggest home buying groups, shop online for real estate, but over 97% of baby boomers are shopping online for real estate. And so now what most people are doing when they decide to move, they go online, they try to get a rough valuation for their home, and they start trying to figure out where they want to live. And once they've figured out where they want to live, that's when they choose to hire an agent. That's when they choose to sell their home. And that's when they choose to buy their next home. About 7 out of 10 of home buyers need to sell a house in order to buy a house. And these people, they start and end their process online. And then they're calling an agent saying, "Hey, please come show me this property." Once they start settling in, that's when they go to list their property. Odds are that might be you in this situation. So, comparing us, our agents do more deals. Right here, we're going to show them how much money they're going to save in commissions. We'll show them our success of growing the company nationwide, and we will show them versus 6%, okay, what they are going to save in your market, okay? And the main thing to focus on here, we do more deals. We do more transactions, okay? We are not limited service. What you're doing by hiring a 1% list agent is you are hiring an expert because we list more homes. We've done more transactions. We've seen more things. A lot of people will say, "Well, I wouldn't go to a discount doctor or I wouldn't go to a discount dentist." Well, you probably, if you needed a knee surgery, you're probably going to want somebody who does a lot of knee surgeries. You're not going to want to go to the person that only does 4 or 5 a year. And unfortunately, the average agent only does 4 or 5 transactions a year. That means that they're only doing their job once every 3 months. It's hard to know the market if you're not spending all day long working the market. When you're spending all day long trying to find business, you're not getting better at doing business. You might get better at finding it, but that doesn't make you any better at doing your actual job, which is representing your clients. Super important for them to understand that they're hiring somebody that knows the market better with more experience. And then we get to the last thing. This is the final page, and it's frankly, it's just truth. These are the 3 factors that are going to make your home sell. Number 1 is price. Number 2 is the amenities, condition, and location of the property. These two coalesce very closely together. So I would typically tell somebody, look, if you have a great home in a great location that's very desirable, and you got a swimming pool and all these amenities, guess what? Your price goes up. And you don't need to pay 6% to sell it. Everybody's going to want to buy it. But on the flip side, if you've got a house that needs a little TLC, maybe if it's in a part of town that people don't necessarily want to move to, anything like that, guess what? It drives the price down on your property. And hiring the most expensive realtor in town doesn't help. That doesn't make your home any more valuable. Okay? It simply means you've got an even further problem because your bottom line is getting worse. Okay, because you're paying too much money in commission, but now you're getting squeezed by your agent, you're getting squeezed by the market, you're getting squeezed on all sides. So in a perfect world, what we're going to do is we're going to keep a lot more equity in your pocket. However, what you can do with number 3 is have buyer or agent incentives to make a deal happen that wouldn't normally take place. Like, let's say, for example, you're paying an agent 6%, you might not have that much room to negotiate. But if we're saving you $10,000, $15,000 on your property, somebody comes through and says, hey, I love the house, but I hate the color. You know what? You can use a little bit of that equity money that you're saving, and you can tell your agent, hey, offer them a $5,000 renovation or painting allowance with an acceptable offer. Or if we get into an offer and we find out the air conditioner is about to blow up or the roof has tons of leaks, guess what? You can now solve these problems. You can fix these things because you're using some of the money that we're saving you as a tool to either get a deal done or to save people money. Right now, we're in a very high interest rate environment. Use our savings to offer to buy down somebody's interest rate. Guess what? Now the home is more affordable, which means you have more demand for your home. Offer an agent incentive, price your house more aggressively. All of these things you can do because we're saving you a little bit of money in commission. At our office, we use Showing Time Professional. Inside that, we have a template, and that template is going to notify our client of all showings. They will approve showings. If the house is occupied, it's automatically going to ask for feedback. It's automatically going to forward them feedback. So if you're not using Showing Time, or even better, Showing Time Professional in your market, we highly recommend it. And the last thing is communication. And I know this sounds crazy, but I would tell people, look, you're not hiring your best friend right now. Now, we might be best friends. And if we're not best friends now, we might wind up being best friends later. But you should be hiring me because I am offering you tremendous value and I'm very good at my job. That's why you're hiring me. So when it comes to communication, I'm not going to be that agent that calls you every day and talks about how wonderful my coffee tastes and how the birds are chirping. I'm busy doing my job every day. I'm a professional, you know, and believe it or not, they warm up to that and they respect that. Okay. They don't necessarily want to hire the agent who's trying to be their best friend. They want to hire the professional who really knows the market, really knows what the hell they're doing. And so you tell them, look, I'm going to communicate with you when we have feedback that's pertinent. I'm going to be reaching out to you and the agent whenever, if I feel like the listing is stale because we're overpriced or whatever reason, we're going to be talking about that. If I have people asking me questions, because they're worried you're going to communicate with them, I would put that seller on the spot right then and say, look, if I have somebody asking me questions about your utilities or your property taxes or any of those things, or something regarding the history of the property, I'm going to need you to communicate with me quickly because I'm going to be reaching out to you nonstop saying, hey, we need to get these questions answered because, we might have a bite here. We might have a buyer. Okay. But instilling them to make them understand, you are a professional here doing a job. Okay. You're going to communicate, when you need to, and you're going to expect information. But aside from that, you're not going to treat them like a best friend because they don't want a best friend right now. They want a professional. Okay. Their CPA, their doctor, their lawyer, nobody calls them every day to talk to them about absolutely nothing. And that's because they are a professional doing a professional job in a professional way. And that's what people expect. Okay. Start acting as such and they will treat you as such. Okay. So I hope this helps. We also have this in video form, which I highly recommend if you're going to list a house and they might not be ready to meet with you for 4 or 5 days. You know what? Take a second to send them that video version of our listing presentation. Make sure they watch it. It will make it less likely that you are going to lose that listing prior to somebody else coming on board. And maybe somebody talks them in a meeting with another agent. And the next thing you know, that agent is super savvy and they're signing paperwork before you can get to a meeting with them. So I highly recommend you take the time to share that video with them. And I hope this helps. And highly recommend you get comfortable with the listing presentation. Obviously, you can add a page or two to your liking, but highly recommend you get comfortable with it. And I hope this helps. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.